Hello there, my name is Sam, and today I'm going to be presenting you with a theory that I came up with on the forums a few days ago. If you are subscribed to me, but you don't have an account on the forums, I highly recommend that you go check that out. It's www.playthegameco. I will link that in the description, blah blah blah. And I'm going to be reading for you a theory, pretty much word for word, that I made on the forums, and the theory is called Nazi Zombies, a comic book adventure from the distant future. And I'm gonna try to read this essentially word for word, just to kind of give you an idea of essentially what it's about. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, here we are. Nazi Zombies, a comic book adventure from the distant future. The following is merely a story created to scare children. This phrase has been floating around the zombie universe for quite some time now. Zombies, the entire Zombies, this is going to be really difficult, I can tell, but zombies, the entire storyline is simply a story. A story created to scare children. A story created by an author by the name of Cornelius Purnell. We know this. Now, what exactly does that mean? A story created to scare children. What's that all about? Well, from what we've heard recently from one of Ben's last videos, he focused your attention to the character bios that were in World at War. You know, the old character bios that talked about the four characters, obviously. And he told us that there were certain words in those bios that deleted the characters. There were certain words in there that they basically debunked the existence of those characters. And delete is a very good word for that, because these characters do not exist. Let me say that again. The four characters, Dempsey, Takio, Nikolai, and Richtofen, these characters do not exist. They are just part of the story. Dempsey and the gang, they don't exist. They're just characters in a story. Now, here's a question. When was this story created, you might ask yourself? Well, if you remember back to the dissension theory video, it's described as being 800 years in the future. Now that's a very long time, where we have something called the Cocoon, which acts as this underground safe haven beneath a ruined Manhattan for surviving humans. These humans seem to, go about their daily lives as normal, safe in their cocoon. Now, the people who live in this cocoon were most likely born in it. If you need any visuals, I might put some pictures up on the screen or something. Just try to picture Fallout 3 with Vault 101 to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. They have no real knowledge of this outside world. I mean, they obviously know about the zombies, this undead army walking around outside, as most of them had probably tried to break into the cocoon at multiple times. So, I'd like to take this moment to just theorize for a bit. Let's imagine that in that cocoon, 800 years in the future, lived a man by the name of Cornelius Purnell. Let's say he was born in this cocoon. Now think for a moment about the children that are being born into this cocoon, in this fortress. Surely they would need some sort of way to educate them about the horrors that roam the earth, right? Well, maybe that's where Cornelius comes in, Let's say that Cornelius decided to create this comic book. A comic book about four heroes who fight off the zombie horde. It could act as this fictional origin story to the zombie outbreak, because everyone living in this cocoon has lived their entire life with zombies outside their walls. Nobody really knows how they came to be. The origin of zombies, just lost in time. Now, this comic book story would most likely contain multiple stories within itself, right? Sorry. Like, for instance, in one comic, it could have, like, multiple editions, you know? Like, in this comic, the four heroes fight off the zombies in, an abandoned theater. Or maybe in this one, they fight zombies on the fucking moon. And as it progressed, maybe the author might even go as far as creating multiple stories within his story. A story of a mad scientist with a mission to control the undead, a father desperately trying to save his daughter. He might even decide to create new characters that nobody liked, so he killed them. Just think of it as like comic books we have today, like Batman, for instance. All Batman comics have essentially the same story, but each one is different, you know, obviously so it wouldn't be boring. Now, the purpose of this comic book was to act as an information booklet to teach the children born inside that cocoon about the horrors that roamed outside above ground. I mean, obviously it was designed like a comic book to appeal to these children, but more importantly, this comic book was created to scare children. To make these children fear the zombies that waited for them outside the walls, so that they would never try and leave the cocoon and compromise the safety of everyone who lived there. These comics probably became very popular among the residents of the cocoon that lived there, and many of the children may have even gone as far as to place bets on which characters in the story would survive the longest. That would explain why all of the loading screens for the zombie maps are designed like pages in a comic book. All of it! From Nocturne and Toten all the way up to Moon, and all the way through Black Ops 2, is simply a story. A story created by the man named Cornelius Purnell, created 800 years in the future. A story created to entertain children living in a safe haven, but also to educate them on the horrors waiting for them outside the cocoon, and why they should be afraid of them. Thank you very much for listening to this theory. I hope it's opened your mind a bit. I'd like to thank... I did not create this theory alone, by the way. I mean, I typed all this up, but I had some help from other people, which I will link all their channels in the description and blah blah blah. So, thank you very much for listening to this theory. I hope it's given you some insight... Given you? What the fuck is that? I hope it's given you... No, fuck that. You know what I'm going for? I hope it's given you some information, and... Not information, sorry. This isn't Future Fruit, by the way. This is just me theorizing. I hope it's... One more time. I hope it's given you some insights as to what the future could be like. And as I said before, this isn't future-proof. There's no hashtag FP at the beginning of this video. At least I don't think there is. This is just me theorizing, okay? And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed whatever gameplay I decide to put up with this. And I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir. Goodbye.